Great afternoon. I hope you are having a fantastic day because it is a great day to prioritize you. And I'm super excited to be back. I took a little bit of a hiatus last week to recover from a weekend full of salsa and bachata dancing at the Orlando Salsa Congress. So I had an amazing time, but I am ready to be back. I should say, I'm glad to be back with you all today. So, for those of you who are new to me or tuning in for the very first time, I am Trisetta Anel Washington, life balance coach and productivity consultant. And what I do is partner with women executives and entrepreneurs to help them have it all without sacrificing the things that matter most. And I like to call this balanced ambition because a lot of times we feel like we have to sacrifice our personal lives in order for us to experience success in our careers or in our businesses. And the truth of the matter is that you can have both. You don't have to choose, but it comes down to finding the right balance between what is important to you in your personal life and what is important to you in your career life. You can have it all. You can have it all. And a part of that is making sure that you are your most productive self, that you are intentional with how you use all of your resources to get things done so that you can have more time freedom, have more liberty, have more joy and fulfillment in your life because you're doing more of the things that fill you up. And today I want to talk to you about something that I call the productivity pyramid. Now, a lot of times when we start talking about being productive, we want to focus solely on time management. And time management is a key element to being your most productive self. But there's two additional elements that are key or critical in order for you to actually get stuff done. And again, that's why I call it the productivity pyramid. And the reason why I call it a pyramid is because each component is foundation, built upon another. So if you think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, at the bottom, you have your foundational thing, the things that are your safety, right? And then it progresses from there. Once you have that, then you can go to the next level, then you can go to the next level. And I like to look at the productivity pyramid in the same way. So I'm going to really quickly tell you what the three elements are, and then I'll do a little bit of a dive into why each one of those elements is important and how you can be more intentional with each of these elements. And then over the next 3 weeks, I'll do a deep dive into all three of the elements. We'll take them one by one and really do a deep dive on how you can improve that area or that element within your life so that you can be more productive. Right? Does that sound good? I hope it does. Now, before I dive in, I want to encourage you, if you are tuning in live, please go ahead and let me know that you are here. Say hello. If you are watching the replay, let me know in the comments that you're watching the replay. Just type in hashtag replay. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop those in the chat, drop those in the comments, and I will, if I don't see them live, then I will definitely come back and address them after the fact. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. So the three key essential elements to the productivity pyramid are time, energy, and focus. And you need all three of these in order for you to be your most productive self. Now, time is the foundational one. And like I said at the offset, this is the place where most people really, when they start talking about wanting to be productive, that's where they really spend the majority of their time focusing on. Like, I need to do better with managing my time. I need to make the most of the time that I have available. And that is completely accurate because if you don't have time to do the things that need to get done or the things that you desire to do, then they're just not going to get done unless you're going to bring on unless you're going to hire someone to do it. And that's a whole nother, we'll get into that a little bit later. So time is a key element here, or the foundational element here. And we know, I'm sure you've heard the saying that time is money. And yes, time is money because time is a non-renewable resource. You can make more money, but you cannot make more time. So it's critical that you are intentional with how you spend the time that you have, right? I love talking about time and money in correlation with each other because they're very similar. Like I said, but the difference with money is you can make more money, but with time, it's a non-renewable resource. Once it is gone, it is gone. You cannot get it back. Now you can shrink time, right? You can leverage time, leverage different tools and automations and different systems and processes in order to collapse time so that you can get more done. But you cannot go back and regain time that was once that's been lost, right? And just like with your money, it's important for you to have a budget for your time. Now, personally, I'm not a big fan of the term budget because I feel like it's really restrictive. So when I start talking about money, having a budget for my money, I call it a strategic money plan. That's what I call it. So you also need, but just like you have to have a budget or a strategic money plan, you need the same thing in your with it as it relates to your time, and that is your schedule, right? That your strategic plan for your week. And if you are not going through the process of sitting down every single week to plan your week in advance, then you are setting yourself up for wasting time and just misusing time, and not being able to be as focused as you could be with the time that you have available. So I would definitely encourage you to spend 30 minutes on Sunday night or first thing Monday morning or Friday before you knock off for the day, depending upon what your work schedule is. But find 30 minutes where you can sit down and go through the process of planning your week in advance. And if this is something that is new to you, I do have a free resource that I have available called the Weekly Planning Routine. It's a workbook and a 15-minute video training that walks you through this process. That I don't want to get into that today, but if you would like some support in planning your week out and crafting your weekly planning routine, then go to weeklyplanningroutine.com and you can download that free resource and access the video training that goes along with that. But that's the very first step, is to make sure that you are sitting down, planning out your week in advance so that you know what you've got coming up, what those priority obligations are, what priority projects you need to work on, what time you have available to get all those things done, and then fill in the gaps with everything else. So that's going to be essential to managing your time or utilizing your time well. And like I said, time is a foundational piece, but the next piece to that, or the next element, is going to be energy, right? If you have the time to get something done, but you aren't managing your energy into a way, or you don't have the energy to actually do the task at hand, you're probably not going to get it done. And this is where a lot of people start to make mistakes as it relates to playing managing their time well, because I feel like, oh well, I tried creating a schedule and that didn't really work because maybe they got distracted, or maybe um, they planned things at the end of the day and they just didn't have the energy for it. And so they didn't get it done, or maybe they overextended themselves and put too much on their schedule for the day and weren't able to get to everything. And so then started to feel a little overwhelmed or defeated because they couldn't get everything done. But if you are focused on um, managing your energy and making sure that when you build out your schedule, you build out your schedule according to your energy rhythm. Now, one of the things that I always recommend to my clients, when we first start working together, is that they do a time and energy audit. And what that is you just go through, keep tabs on how you spend your time each day, and what your energy levels are like at various points throughout the day. And by doing this, you start to recognize what your personal rhythms are, because we all have our own individual rhythms. Some people are morning people, some people are night owls, some people kind of wax and wane throughout the day. we're all unique and individual. So we need to, when you know what time of day you have the greatest energy and what time of day you have the least amount of energy, then it makes it easier for you to build your schedule to a way that sets you up for success, that sets you up for you to be your most productive self. If you know that between the hours of 1 and 3 every day, you have a serious energy lull where you can barely keep your eyes open, or you just, you have more difficulties focusing during that time. That's not a time of day that you want to schedule your most important work, because it's going to be much more difficult for you to actually get it done. It's going to require more effort and energy than you have available. And that will just end up frustrating you. But if you know that between the hours of 9 a.m. and 11 a.m., that's when you have your most energy, and that's when you tend to have your most focus, and you can knock things out. Then you can schedule those things that are most important during that time frame. So that's why it's really important for you to go through the process of, one, identifying where your energy highs and your energy lows are throughout your day, so that you can plan your day around that, to put your most important work when you have the most energy, and the things that don't require as much focus and attention, or attention to detail, or just really don't require as much mental capacity for you to get done, like checking emails or something to that effect. You can schedule those things during those times of the day when you have the energy lulls. And it's also important for you to do things to make sure that you manage your energy, like exercising and getting plenty of sleep and eating right, and minimizing people who drain your energy. Um, and maybe that means also avoiding alcohol, or avoiding doing certain activities that drain you mentally at various times of the day. So you have to make sure that you are doing things to manage your energy. And like I said, energy is more, it's more than just, oh, I've got energy this time of day and I don't this time of day. Knowing that, armed with that, that helps you better schedule out your day. But you also need to do things to make sure that you have as much energy as possible. Because, pulling an all nighter to get that report done, or to finish a project, is not ideal. You're going to be much more likely to make mistakes when you are trying to push through and you're burning the midnight oil. Rest, which is a part of energy management, rest is a productivity activity. That is one of the things. A lot of times people think that, and I talked about this yesterday in my private Facebook community. A lot of times people, when they rest, they feel like, oh, well, I'm being lazy, or, it's that they're just being inactive. And that, while that sometimes can be true, there is a type of rest that is productive. And that is when you are being very intentional about what you are doing in that time, to make sure that you're doing activities that rejuvenate you, as opposed to just passing time. Because there's a difference between resting and just kind of like wasting time, or just zoning out, vegging out. There's two different things going on there. But we'll dig deeper into that when I get to that segment, which will be in 2 weeks, when we'll cover energy management. And then the third element is focus, right? So if you have the time to get it done and you have the energy to get it done, but then you don't have the focus to be able to stay on task, then chances are you're going to struggle to be productive. You're going to struggle to get done what needs to get done. If you've got no dings and bells and whistles and ringers and all kinds of notifications flying at you while you're trying to do focused work, it's going to be very challenging. Or what about if you're working in an office environment and you have coworkers who are coming up to your cubicle or walking into your office, knocking on your door, whatever the case may be, interrupting you, or the phone is ringing? those are distractions. And we are a very, especially here in the US, but society as a whole, collectively, worldwide, we are a very distracted society because of these devices that we have, right? Because of all these devices that we have, because we're walking around with these little computers in our pockets or in our purses, which are then constantly vying for our attention. And social media, especially like these short form video platforms, have made it even worse and have made it much more challenging for us to pay attention, right? And there's a reason why it's called paying attention, because there is a cost. Like, um, I don't want to go too deep into this, but advertisement. Why do you think people pay for advertisement? They're paying for your attention. That's why we call it paying attention. It's because people pay. They pay money to get your attention. And if you are not guarding your focus and you're not doing things to foster focus, to foster your ability to be attentive to the task in front of you, then you're going to struggle to be productive. You're going to struggle to get things done. And so, in 3 weeks, when we close out this series and talk about focus, and focus management specifically, I'll dive into some strategies, some things that you can do to retrain your brain to focus. So many people, beyond just kind of regular, like the regular distractions, there's so many people nowadays who suffer from ADD and ADHD. And there's some research that ties that back to childhood trauma, but a lot of it has to do with technology and how these apps are designed to keep our attention. They do things to constantly stimulate us to a point where it decreases our ability to focus. And it's important for you to, in order, if you're going to be your most productive self, it's important for you to be armed with some tools and some strategies for being maintaining your attention, maintaining your focus on the task at hand. And just real quick, one of the things that I do is I put my phone on do not disturb when I'm doing focus work. Like right now, I'm doing this live stream training, and my phone is, I don't know if you can see that, but got the little moon there. That's the little focus moon that says, hey, I've got my notifications silenced. So text messages, phone calls, none of that can come through. Um, they'll still come to my phone, but I won't see them until I either go into my phone or turn off that focus status, right? So the information, the calls still come in, the text messages still come in, the emails, all those notifications still come in, but I have done what I need to do to protect my time and energy and focus so that I can be fully present in the moment with you all, right? And share this information. So time, energy, and focus. Those are the three key essential elements of productivity, what I call the productivity pyramid. And like I said, over the next 3 weeks, we're going to be going through each one of these elements and breaking it down. And I'm going to share with you why each one is important, um, what some of the pitfalls are, some of the think traps that can end up kind of soaking up or siphoning off each one of those elements in your life, and some tools and strategies for how you can overcome that and set yourself up for success in all three areas, so that when you go to do your most important work, you have all the essential elements for you to be your most productive self. So that is all that I have for you today. I will see you right back here next week, Thursday, for part two of this series where we'll talk about time management. Bye for now, and I'll see you next week.